Hello and welcome to Green and Gold Radio. I'm your host, William Plav Masters, and here for a very special Mother's Day special, Mama Plav herself and Mr. Barrett.
Excellent.
How are you guys doing today?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, of course. You're going to have to talk a little louder than that. I know you're like a little church mouse, but come on.
I'm so excited to be here.
Of course.
I've been begging for over a year.
Yeah.
Here I am.
Here
The
you are.
time has come.
The time has come.
Mother's
Yay.
Day 2021.
Mother's Day 2021. So, for the Mother's Day special, who better to talk about than the Blessed Mother herself, the Virgin Mary, right?
Yeah. How about that? In Scripture, especially in the Gospel of Luke, we see the beginning of the Gospel start with an angel appearing to Mary. And Mary is struck with fear at the sight of what's in front of her. And the opening lines, "Do not be afraid, the Lord is with you, and God finds favor upon you." I forget exactly which tense it's written in, but that line, "God finding favor in you," presupposes that God's favor was upon Mary even before the annunciation of the birth of Jesus. And I love thinking like that. And I'm no mother, but if I were to be a mother, and hopefully someday a father, you could just see that in just any child's birth. At some point, even with the announcement of a pregnancy, all parents seem to find favor in a child that they don't even know yet. And to think of that being written by the gospel author Luke, that God finds favor not only in Mary and Joseph's offspring, but in Mary herself, is a beautiful, beautiful way of thinking of motherhood, of child rearing, and of God incarnate in the person Jesus. So, yeah, Mary's grown a lot in Catholic thought over the centuries, to a point where, gosh, some of our listeners probably say this better than me, but Mariology is really one of the few things that the Pope has ever taught with infallibility. That Mary is this Theotokos, which is Greek for God bearer, and I love that thought. This notion that all of us in some way bear God in us and with us, but Mary in an especially profound way, quite literally bears God in her own womb. And then to think about all the things that are not written in the gospel, that Mary and Joseph and Jesus would have encountered as a holy family, seeing their child grow, loving their child. Could you imagine how much love and upbringing it would have taken to prepare Jesus for his ministry? Not just in what he does, but in who he becomes, this total model of self-emptying love. And I like to think that Mary and Joseph at some point revealed that and led the way to him. So Mary, rightfully so, holds a very special place in the church.
Yeah, absolutely. And so to my understanding, that era of Jesus' upbringing, between his birth and his 3 to 5 years of ministry, isn't really that well recorded within the Bible. In fact, there isn't really anything about it, is there?
No, not at all. Some people refer to it as, I think they use the line, either the forgotten years or the looked over years. And that goes to the nature of a gospel. It's not meant to be a biography, but a teaching on the good news that Jesus brings. And yet we have religious imagination to maybe help fill in the blanks with hypotheses. Like Jesus, I'd love to imagine Jesus and Mary maybe doing laundry and singing psalms while they do it, or little lessons or lessons before bed where Mary and Joseph read through, or probably not even read through, but speak orally about their Jewish identity with Jesus. So
absolutely.
Yeah, super, not just super church figure, but super mom for sure.
For sure.
And what a time of the year to celebrate all of our super moms.
Absolutely, yes.
I feel bad my mom's not here today.
Right.
She couldn't make it, but yeah, I get to celebrate my mom this coming Sunday. She's gonna walk at graduation for her master's in education. So.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Moms do it all, don't
That's
they?
awesome. Good for her.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, moms do it all.
Moms do it all. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but for those years, we were in theology class going over the Pauline letters, and he talked about if everything in Jesus' life was documented, it could fill an entire library or something along those lines. I'm probably not quoting it properly, but I remember going over certain historical texts that did mention Jesus of Nazareth, but not in the Bible. So, like, we discussed this on a previous episode, the difference between canonical scriptures and non-canonical scriptures, in the way that, like, there are writings about God and Jesus outside of the Bible. They're just not considered by the church to be canonical within the Bible. And there was this one text that went over Jesus's childhood. I forget what it is. I believe it was the Dead Sea Scrolls. We talked about it briefly in theology class freshman year. And it's just fascinating to me that parts of Jesus's life would be almost cut out of the Bible in a way that just surprises me, I guess. I didn't figure that. I'd figure that all texts documenting Jesus would be recorded, you know?
Yeah. And adolescence and early childhood have such an impact on the person we grow into. So there's almost a thirst and desire to see that part of Jesus' life.
Yeah, yeah. So you were talking about the Psalms earlier, and that reminds me about this skit that me and Mom love to watch. It's John Mulaney.
Yeah.
And he compares the Psalms to songs, but like it's a word you're meant to mishear.
Oh, yeah.
Like, oh, I'm going to sing a psalm. You're going to sing a song? Yeah, it's a psalm, you know? Like, it's a word you're meant to mishear because it's similar to a song, but, like, it's really, it's not. It doesn't rhyme, but it has this spiritual meaning that songs just don't always have. And it was just interesting, to hear that out of the comedian. I highly recommend it. It's on Netflix. It's a John Mulaney special. I forget what the name is called, but he does this whole skit about Catholic Mass and the Psalms and everything, you know.
Yeah. I've watched it with Mr. Rents before. I think does it end with him saying, Christ has died, Christ has risen, Christ will come at 10. So when he's a young man, he's always looking for his watch for 10 o'clock to strike.
I don't remember.
This was like 3 or 4 years ago, so maybe it was a different.
Maybe it's a different skit.
Yeah, maybe it's maybe it's just a different piece that he had done.
He does some good skits on it.
Yeah.
Highly recommend it.
Yeah.
So, off of my tangent now, it's just interesting because we were talking about this in class about how it was a joke Mr. Yako brought up, and it was
detention. Detention.
Yes,
Platinum Masters detention.
That is his. That's his go-to. But it was a different joke, and it was the story of who is without sin may cast the first stone, and it was Jesus was. There was a prostitute, right, and she was being stoned, or she was about to be stoned by the Pharisees and by a crowd. And Jesus said, "Oh, let he who is without sin throw the first stone." And a stone comes flying through the crowd and nails the lady square in the forehead. And Jesus looks over his shoulder and he says in that voice, "Mom!" Mom knows what I'm talking about.
Classic Catholic joke.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that one.
It was good. But it really brings this question to mind. How can anyone truly be without sin? I mean, it's an interesting topic because she was she was a person, she was a human, and as we all know, humans are notorious sinners. So how is a person like that without sin?
That's a great question. I think back to junior year John Carroll, where my scripture study professor, Dr. Spencer, often posed this type of thinking. The question is not so much, did it actually happen, but is it thinking that works? So I don't know. I mean, I will admit I do like to think that Mary lived a sinless life. But on a deeper question, it's not that like my faith depends on that. If we were to find that, it's just a teaching, I don't know. But the real question is, does it work for us? And I think it surely works in our minds that for Jesus to enter the world in a fully human way, it works for us to think that he would come through and come within a perfect vessel.
Yeah.
And we could get into a question of what's perfect and what's imperfect. And, all perfect things have bumps and bruises, and that's what it means to be human. And Jesus would have entered into that. So yeah, I like to think not so much in a negative way of not having sin, but in a positive way, that Mary was so full of love in her upbringing and in her own young adulthood and adulthood. Like, maybe it's not so much her sinlessness, but her capacity for love that brings Jesus into the world. Maybe that's how God finds favor in her.
I like that.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
I've
yeah.
never thought like that before. That just came right out.
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
the best part about the podcasting room is that just your riff stuff
Yeah.
comes out. I don't think people realize, like, we've had like 2 scripted episodes the whole year, like the Christmas episode
Yeah.
and then the Easter episode, and like every other episode besides that is like completely unscripted.
Yeah.
So I'm just sitting here in awe while Mr. Barrett says the most thoughtful and in-depth things I've ever heard, and I'm just in awe here thinking, like, wow, okay, I don't know how he knows all this, but he knows all of this. And
Well,
it's,
that's flattering, because when I speak, I typically get really tense and nervous. Like, what am I saying? What am I saying? My palms get sweaty. I start to stutter. Yeah. Or I just start laughing. That's really my cue.
yeah.
And the feeling's mutual, William.
Oh, I don't, I'm not that intelligent when it comes to biblical learnings, but I try. I do my best. So,
Same.
Always room to learn more.
Yep.
yeah. So,
Amen.
speaking of, I don't know what we're speaking of, but we got a pizza, right? From this,
Yeah.
from this place. And Mom bought it. And I remember Mom saying in the car, you better add in a segue for the vegan pizza so that I can talk about veganism for a little bit in the podcast. She made it a really big point over the past, I don't know, like month when I decided to have her on the podcast. And it's been a point during the past couple of weeks. So why don't you take it away?
Oh, thanks, Leo. Well, we are very excited to have found a great pizza place that has amazing vegan options. I don't know if any of your listeners are vegan or vegan curious, but it's really a great big part of my life. I was 13, ironically enough, in health class, pre-internet, if that dates me a little bit.
Pre-podcast.
Definitely pre-podcast, yes. And I was lucky enough, it was a day my life changed. A friend of mine handed me what's called a zine, which was like a little mini magazine from a great, a great group called Vegan Outreach. And so their mission is to educate people on animals, animal agriculture, on vegan living, vegan choices. And I looked through this zine in health class, and that day my life changed. I said to myself, boy, I am learning things that I never learned before. I never knew any of this before. Basically on how animals that are raised for food are treated. And it really struck a nerve with me because I love animals. I love all animals, I should say. And they are God's creation. God gave us dominion over animals, right? And the way I like to think about that is that God trusted us to care for all of the beautiful creatures, nature that God created. And that's powerful.
Mhm.
That is a lot of responsibility, you know, and that's a lot of trust, you know. I love learning about animals because they're fascinating. And when I was homeschooling Liam, we dove into so many different shows, books, anything we could get our hands on about animals. And Liam could probably rattle off a million cool animal facts.
I just thought of 3. I was thinking about the platypus, the blobfish, and the cuttlefish for no reason. Just
because they're great. You know, it's like, it's just endless possibilities. And to think that there are more animals that we might not even know about yet in the ocean, you know, way down deep. It's just fascinating to me. And I really, as an artist, I like to look at all the nuances and the differences and the beauty, really, in all of these animals. So to rewind, you know, we love our pets, right? We love our dogs, we love our cats, we love our little fishies and our lizards. And, you know, animals that are raised that we have traditionally eaten, they are not different than those animals that we love so much. Like pigs, for example. Pigs are actually really, really intelligent creatures. And they're as smart as toddlers. You can find,
oh my gosh.
Yes, you can find videos of a piggy putting a puzzle together.
I bet you it's smarter than my little brother. I guarantee
Oh,
you.
Liam, be nice. He's
Kidding.
I know.
Relax. Take a joke.
They're very smart, though. They're smarter than dogs. And I love dogs.
Well, of course they're smarter than dogs. It doesn't take that much.
Oh, Liam.
Bum, 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 bum.
Ba-dum-punch.
Oh,
Let's go.
silly. So I'm kind of rambling. Let me pull it back
No,
in.
it's fine.
Oh, this is great.
So when I looked through this magazine, it showed things that these industries don't want us to see, right? When I was homeschooling Liam, one of the questions that I encouraged him to ask during life as he moves on from now to adulthood is question who you're receiving your information from, right? And who is paying, possibly, most likely, that person to say what they're saying to you if they're trying to convince you of something, right? So you're going to be told that you need milk for healthy bones, right? But in essence, green leafy vegetables, for example, have more calcium, okay? And the dairy producers, they want to sell you a product, right? They want to sell you a product. And these seeds have been planted long ago. We've grown up entrenched in the ways that we eat, the things we consume, the things we buy. You know, it's really, choosing vegan is against the grain right now, but my hope is that it will become more and more mainstream. Easier to access, which is why this pizza place is so exciting because they have like 16 vegan pizzas and toppings.
Mozzarella sticks.
And mozzarella sticks, and it's so exciting. It's different being vegan now than it was in like 80s and 90s.
Oh, for sure. In like the 80s and 90s, what did you guys have? Like carrots and bean patties?
Well, you know, I'll tell you something. There just weren't as many options to replace comfort foods as there are now. Luckily, the brilliant chefs have been very busy working, and they have created amazing alternatives. So, like, we can go to the store, and I can buy vegan corn dogs. I can buy vegan
really
cheese.
good.
They're really, really good. I can now buy Beyond Meat or Impossible Burgers, and I have actually, with no sneaky intent, but I've fed them to people who are meat eaters. And they did not really realize that they were vegan at first, which is really exciting that it's come that far because the original veggie burgers were like not, they were a little bit mushy.
Shout out to Chris. Shout out to Chris because that's how you got him to start eating your cooking.
Yes, well, you know, just trying.
Surprise.
Surprise.
It's not meat. Yay!
I remember you got so
tasty.
excited, like, what was it, 3 or 4 years ago when the first burger you made him was a Beyond Meat burger.
Yes.
And you didn't tell him, and he ate it, and he said, "Wow, how do you make burgers this good?" And then you're like, "Oh, it's not meat." And then he's like, "Oh, my Lord, okay, I'm going to start eating this more often." And then you started cooking all the time for him, and it was, I don't know, I just love that anecdote because it was a fun moment.
It is, and you know what? It has made it accessible. So, you know, somebody who's maybe eaten meat for all of their life, 40 years, 45, younger, older, and they want to switch over. Sometimes it's challenging because you have your comfort foods. You're used to the way you do things. You have your routines, you know? And as great as change is, it's not always the easiest thing to sink into. Sometimes it takes a lot of mental strength and like, I'm going to stick with this. I'm going to find the way. I'm going to keep trying. But luckily today, 2021, I mean, we're so blessed that there are so many options. Yeah. So vegan mac and cheese, pretty much vegan anything. So it's exciting. It really is. And so at 13, I went vegetarian. And I was really, really blessed and lucky that my parents at that time allowed that. I came home and I said, guys, I don't want to eat meat anymore. And my mom and my dad were like, okay. And,
wow.
And I thought that was so cool. And I kind of had to fend for myself a little bit, which at 13 meant a lot of peanut butter and jellies, but that's okay. That was okay with me. Nothing wrong with that at all. Exactly. And then in college, I tried veganism because I had this feeling, I was like, the difference between vegetarianism and veganism is that veganism also abstains from eating dairy, eggs, pretty much any animal products, as opposed to only eliminating meat. And for the longest time, I thought, okay, I know that for me, I feel best living my life in a nonviolent way. So this is what speaks to my heart. I don't want to condone violence for humans or animals, and I also don't want to pay somebody else to do a job that I wouldn't do myself. And I know for a fact, I'm just speaking for myself, that I wouldn't be able to take a life in order to eat. And I've been posed the question, well, what if you were on a desert island alone with a pig? Would you eat the pig?
I know where this is going.
And I've been asked that question a few times, and I think to myself, okay, highly unlikely, but if that were to happen, I would, first of all, if it's just me and the pig, that pig is my new best friend.
Yeah, right.
Okay? Yeah. I need somebody to like snuggle with and talk to and hang out with and, explore the island with.
Yeah. You're going to make a puzzle.
Yeah, we're making a puzzle.
Make a puzzle and
That's right.
Yeah.
And so I would follow the pig and I would find out what the pig is eating. That's my answer there. Yeah. We would eat together. And if there was no food, we'd probably starve together. Yeah. And that would be okay, because I wouldn't be able to do that. And I also made that choice. I'm not going to pay to have somebody else do that for me. Right. It just didn't sit right with me,
Absolutely.
So fast forward to about 10 years ago, I was looking into, the internet is really great for so many different reasons, obviously, but we are so lucky and blessed and just spoiled that at the fingertips, we can Google anything. We have access to so much information. Mm-hmm. I remember when I was a little younger than you, Liam, when we first got our set of encyclopedias at my house, what a big deal that was. I mean, that was like a major day. I grew up in Vegas. I still remember we had a whole wall, in our living room dedicated to the encyclopedias. I mean, this was major, and my dad was a big, my mom too, but my dad was a big information nerd. He's the one that instilled in me, question everything, Amanda, ask questions, which I've tried to impart on you.
We referenced him in the Apocalypse episode when we were talking about the Book of Revelations.
Oh, yeah. He loved the Book of Revelations. Yeah. We talked about that all the time. And he'd always plant seeds, and try to encourage me to, okay, well, what could that mean?
I got 90% of that episode in our car ride to school.
Yeah. It's great, it really is. And so in that spirit, when I was your age, if you had questions, you're referencing the encyclopedia and heading to the library and checking out the card catalog.
Library.
You guys probably don't even know what the card catalog is, but that's okay.
What is the card
let's
catalog? Explain the card catalog
it's like
for all of our listeners.
It's a big piece of furniture with lots of little drawers that you pull out, and you'd find your topic, and you'd look up where the books on that topic are in the library. It's kind of like a scavenger hunt for the library.
I see. So it used to take like an hour to find a book.
Things took a lot longer. We are very spoiled. Everything is like instant, Right. You just open up Google, veganism, questions about vegan recipes. It's at our fingertips. It's wonderful,
Yeah.
So in that light, about 10 years ago, I was looking through dairy And this ties back to motherhood. And this is why I wanted to talk about veganism with you here for the Mother's Day episode, because I feel like I'm doing a good job at honoring animal mothers, particularly cows, by choosing not to buy dairy. And, you know, when we're young, we're taught that milk comes from cows, right? That's what you're taught. Milk comes from cows. Cows are milk makers. But really, they're no different than any other animal. The only reason
Yeah, wait a second.
that cows make milk, the only reason is because they are pregnant with a baby calf inside of them. Just like humans, just like horses, just like pigs, just like any mammal that feeds their baby milk.
Wow.
They are no different than any other animal. But we are taught that milk comes from cows. You need milk for healthy bones or you're just going to fall apart, right?
Right, yeah.
Wow.
But you know why? It's because somebody out there is profiting and making money off of that milk. And when I started to dig deeper and I realized, you know, and I thought, okay, I'm buying my milk from organic farms, so it's fine. But really, in essence, the only way to take that milk from the mom is to impregnate her, not naturally. She will carry the baby, and then unfortunately, the baby is born and does not get to stay with mommy. The baby is then taken away, and if it's male, it becomes veal.
Oh, God.
Veal is a baby cow, and I didn't know that until I looked at that vegan outreach zine when I was 13, and I learned. Yeah, I grew up Italian. We had veal parmesan all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't know what it was. I didn't question my nana. I just
Oh,
ate
you,
it.
you never questioned Anna. No.
And it was
That's a bad,
she was
that's
an
a bad thing to do.
incredible cook, the best ever, and a voice like a songbird. And you know, that was it. But when I looked and I said, "Oh, veal is actually a baby," I'm not okay with eating babies, and I stopped eating babies. And you know, also you're getting enough protein, just so everybody knows. You're going to be fine. Like if you take meat out of your diet, you're going to be okay. You just need to supplement B12, and they have B12 gummy vitamins, and that's what I do.
Which are very good, by the
They're
way.
very good. So you really won't lack. If you're nervous, like, oh, if I stop eating meat, what will I eat? There's so many options out there, guys.
Beans.
Beans, veggie
Beans,
burgers,
lots of
Veggie burgers.
beans.
vegan pizza, corn dogs, mac and cheese. I can actually say
Protein
like
shakes.
protein shakes, totally. And there's so many great milks out there now. Right now I'm on an oat milk kick.
Ew.
Coconut milk is good. Almond milk is good. Cashew
And
milk
they're
is good.
sweet. They
Yeah.
don't
Try
taste
'em.
they
Try
don't taste
a-
bad either.
No, try a vanilla one. If you're not sure and you're like, ugh, I don't know, try a vanilla. Start there because it's kind of sweet,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
The best thing I can liken it to is like skim milk,
Mm-hmm.
you know? It's not super thick, and
Milky.
some of them are. Yeah,
Yeah.
some of them can be more than others,
Yeah.
you know? But to come back to dairy, you know, those babies don't get to stay with the moms, and then the moms are full of milk, and they're milked by machines, and it's not really pleasant. So if you have questions, I totally encourage you to either reach out. I am here to answer any question all the time, or Google, or both. But it's not these pictures that you have in your mind in these books that we read of a happy little farmer milking
Yeah.
a mommy cow, and she's smiling, and her
Yeah.
baby's there, and she's chewing. It's really not like that, you know?
And it's not one cow.
It's not one
Hundreds of
cow.
thousands of millions
Yeah.
of cows.
all lined up.
All lined up. And then when
That's
they're
why it's called factory farming. It's a assembly
True.
line of just that.
Living things.
Yeah.
living, sentient beings. And these animals, you know, they're smart. And they love each other and their families, and they grieve. And
Yeah.
the more I look at them, I find more similarities between us and animals than I do differences. I mean, we're all unique, and there's so many cool differences that I love to celebrate because it's just like so interesting, you know,
Yeah.
zebras and giraffes, and I mean, it's just
Penguins.
amazing. Penguins,
Penguins
like,
are monogamous, aren't they?
yes, they are. Isn't that great?
That's incredible.
I know, it is incredible. I love that about them. and the dads watch over the egg. Isn't that neat? Yeah. Animals are fascinating. So I decided at that point, once I realized that dairy wasn't what I thought it was, just like the meat industry wasn't what I thought it was, I decided to take that off of my plate, and yours too. Eggs are the same thing. I thought, I'm doing cage-free organic, so it's okay. But really those conditions that they're in, it's like, it's a little bit of trickery that's happening.
A little bit?
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot. I'm trying to be
You don't got to
gentle.
undersell.
It's
This is an open space to talk. You don't got to undersell.
It is. It's, and it's hard to change. It's hard to change your patterns, but it's also very freeing and exciting. I'm happy that, people who might be curious about this for moral, ethical reasons, or even health reasons. Let's say somebody who's having any type of heart or health complications, and their doctor says, hey, you might want to stay away from all of this dairy and all this meat and eat more vegetables. It's easy because they don't have to, okay, I'm just going to eat salads forever. And doesn't that sound exciting? I love salads, but I don't want a salad forever. I want a corn dog too. So it's neat that there are so many options out there to make it easy for people to say, okay, I want a burger. I'm going to go to Burger King. And now there's an Impossible Burger on the menu.
There is.
It's like really, really
and
cool.
And it's not terrible. Like
No.
it's very good. When you think of fast food, you think of just,
Grease.
this is going to make me feel terrible
Yeah.
afterwards. It's not the best for you, but it's not terrible. It's good. It's pretty good. It's, it's got nice taste to it,
Yeah, it's an alternative.
It is an alternative.
It's an alternative, and it's available. And, supply and demand is a real thing. I love the word boycott. I mean, at 13, I was like, oh, this is great. This is where I have power.
Yeah.
This is where I felt empowered,
Right.
okay, I have my few dollars here, and I'm going to spend them supporting who I feel is doing the best work, and what's going to be best for the environment, for my body, for others, for animals included. I felt very empowered by that. And it's been so exciting because I've been able to watch over the past few decades, the increase in demand for these products and what's happening out there. We just bought mayonnaise from, I can't remember if it's Hellman's or one of the name brands, offers a vegan mayo now. Zero cholesterol if you're watching your cholesterol. And the taste is spot on. These scientists and chefs are no joke. They have done a really, really great job.
Food science is an interesting
Food science is
career.
awesome. Yes, it really is, So I felt empowered by that. When sometimes in life, you can feel so overwhelmed and a little bit of despair, like, okay, this is happening and it's not good and it doesn't make me feel good inside, and I kind of want to crawl into my turtle shell, and it feels sad,
Yeah.
but it feels empowering knowing that through my choices, I'm only one person, but those choices do matter, because when you add them up and you compact them with many, many people, changes are happening now. Changes are really, it's taking place, and it's happening rapidly. Veganism is also great for the environment, so we can reduce our carbon footprint and try to take good care of our planet, And thank you for letting me rant about this. I realize I'm just going on and on.
No,
And
it's fine.
I
it's
do
fine.
appreciate it though, because
No, that's maybe the most condensed you've ever given.
yeah, I in my little humble, small, quiet life, I love my son.
Thank you.
I love my family. I love St. Ed's, and the St. Ed's family that I've grown to really adore. I mean, this is a special place.
It is.
Full of special people. And I love art. Art is something that brings me a great sense of peace, and it's healing, and it's my language, a lot of times. And I love animals, and I love veganism. I feel very passionately, And I really appreciate you giving me the chance to talk about it, because these animals, they can't talk and they can't speak up for themselves. But if they could, I know that they would say, hey, I'm really not cool with what's going on. This is not
Right.
what I would choose for myself. So I feel happy being able to say, okay, you know what? If I was a cow, I would hope somebody would say something on my behalf, just to try to change their conditions and the way that that they are forced to live their lives. They want to have a happy life too,
Yeah.
And so embracing that idea of nonviolence in my life, it just makes sense. And I feel like it's not necessarily a male-female thing, but I'm sure that all the moms out there would probably agree.
Sympathize.
Just, yes, that, so much of what we need to do is just nurture. It's just nurture. That's and love and do our best, because, everybody is just trying their best. There's no manual at the hospital when you are handed your beautiful baby to take home and
My parents said that the other day.
yeah. And you're just, okay, just good luck, and try to change anything that, you feel like you need to change from your upbringing. And it's a massive responsibility, and we're all just trying our best, but I know that moms, that's what we do. We just try to nurture and encourage, and, we just love you guys, we really do. Yeah.
Love you too.
And so I
Feelings
feel,
mutual.
yeah, oh, yeah, it's really wonderful. So I feel like male, female, anybody who that kind of sits with, that resonates with, just not wanting to inflict harm,
Sure.
and that's we want to love ourselves and we want to love others, and that for me extends to animals too.
Like
So
Jesus said, love thy neighbor.
love thy neighbor.
Yeah.
And I really feel that when God said, I've created all, I'm paraphrasing obviously, I've created all these
You gotta do
amazing
the voice,
animals. Oh, you don't want me to try to do that. And you have dominion over them. The way that I think about that is, like I had said before, just the responsibility of caring for them, not necessarily profiting off of them.
Yeah.
I think that things have spiraled a little bit. And I think if Jesus were walking with us and seeing these things, I don't know that he would be cool with it. I think
Right.
he would try to say, okay, this isn't quite what the
What I
Father
intended,
meant.
yeah.
This is not exactly what I had in mind,
Yeah. Right.
So yes, so thank you. And there's a million great resources out there.
Of course.
And you can live a healthy life.
Yeah.
I'm 40, and I've been vegetarian since 13, vegan for 10 years. Knock on wood, everything's good. I'm not invincible, but I am able to sustain my body as successfully as I did while consuming animal products.
Wow.
It's a good way of, just saying that. Like, I still have to make healthy choices. I have been probably eating too much vegan junk food lately, which is easy to do with all the vegan ice cream and vegan yumminess everywhere. So I need to eat more. You'll hear that whole food, plant-based, and it's just kind of getting back to healthier eating,
Sure.
more veggies, more fruits, more rice, which feels good, and beans. Beans are a great source too.
Absolutely.
So yes, thank you. That I think
Of course.
it's really important to remember that motherhood it extends past us humans.
Wow.
Yeah.
That there's a lot, and if you watch animals in the videos and you see the moms and dads caring for their children, I mean it's so obvious that there's so much love there, and
Absolutely.
they want to teach their children, and they want their little ducklings to follow them across the street and not get hurt.
I mean, we aren't the only things with emotion out there.
Yeah.
It just, it's a little,
Yeah.
I wonder who's the guy that started on animal milk. Who's the guy that?
It's obviously a guy.
Yeah. Oh my God! It's
Yeah.
obviously a guy.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah.
Who is the dude that went up to a cow? Because like this wasn't always a thing. Like humans breastfeed and then they grow up and eat actual food.
And wean.
But like
Yes.
who's the human that decided, hey, I'm gonna wean off of a adult cow for my adult life?
Yeah.
Who's
We're going to get those cows' milk.
I don't know.
Because I'd like to meet
Yeah.
that person and have an honest conversation with them about like, okay, what was your thought process on this?
Right.
Why are you breastfeeding off of an adult cow? You're 36.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
What?
And they
Come on
probably
now.
didn't even know of like pasteurizing the milk at first.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like that
Oh,
cannot
yeah.
taste good.
Yeah.
Or be
No.
good for you.
No.
It's not like right off the bat they squeezed it and they're like added sugar and other stuff to
Yeah.
it. No, it's just like, okay, alrighty then. Cool.
Yeah.
Can I say something gross?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Knock yourself out.
I teach freshmen, so
So with conventional milk, the machines that the animals are hooked up to sometimes will create a boo-boo, like, cut the animal. And so there's a certain amount of blood and pus that's allowed in milk. It just can't exceed that. So that's kind of gross,
Yeah.
Didn't
And
know
the same
that,
thing
yeah.
with meat. There's a certain amount of feces that's allowed because if they cut into the
Really?
intestines, there's a certain amount.
it only makes sense.
Yeah, if they cut in, they're like, oh, well, a little bit of poo is okay, just not a lot, you know?
Wow.
So, I know that was really gross, but
No, it's
Oh,
fine.
no.
these are the things that when I
We're in
read...
an all-boys school. It
I-
gets much grosser than that here. Trust me.
Aw, you guys are awesome, though. Come on. When I read those things, I thought, ooh, because you just don't really think about that. And speaking of the pasteurization, and they'll
Yeah.
try to lighten the milk up and bleach it, and what do you really,
Yeah.
what do we really...
Yeah.
And then it only has so much shelf life.
It only has so much shelf
I wonder
life.
how much milk gets spoiled.
A lot. A lot, probably
yeah.
a lot. And you know what? In order to, and I might butcher this, but in order to receive all the subsidies and the money, the dairy industry, in order for them to receive all that, they have to produce so much, right?
Right.
So if it's not consumed, they'll make it and they'll just dump it.
Yeah. Well, a
What
lot of
a
companies
waste.
do that. A lot of
A lot do, yes.
It's
yes.
not just the
It's not just no,
dairy. It's
nope.
But
a lot does get wasted,
Yeah.
A lot does get wasted. And also, okay, cows are awesome. Kind of want a cow.
My sister wants a cow.
I wish I had enough. We should get a cow
We had
and
a
share it.
Yeah.
I love this idea.
I just
like-
love big mammals. Like
Yes,
we've
I
had
do. Oh,
yeah.
multiple dogs and
Yes.
stuff. Yeah.
Yes, the bigger the better. I just want to
Dogs.
hug you.
Mm.
Love it. But these mama cows, their milk is meant to grow and raise a calf. A calf is going to grow at such a more rapid rate
Yeah.
and become so large so fast.
And it's already so big.
And it's already so big, and it's not the same as what humans require. So, you have that difference. So you have a lot more, many more hormones running through your body if you're consuming those things.
Right.
Also, 80%, and it might not be exactly that, but it's right around 80% of the antibiotics that are created, right? It's a lot if you think about that, go right to livestock and animals. 20% are for human consumption directly. But those animals are pumped full of antibiotics because of the conditions they're in. They're so filthy and gross and full of disease that they need to have that in order to stay alive for however long they're allowed. And so those things don't come out of the meat, which is why I think a lot of people choose organic meat. And I think that became such a surge. Like, okay, well, I'm going to try to choose, a better cut of meat or grass-fed or all these other ideas,
Right.
So really, it's like you could just go down such a rabbit hole with it because once you start unpacking it, it's like, oh, wow. Oh,
This
my
is crazy.
goodness, wow. Yeah.
I've
It's
learned
like-
so much today.
there's a lot, and there's so much more,
Mom, that may be the best summary you've given. Usually when you go on these talks, what you just said goes into the span of about 2 hours.
Oh, we could just talk for weeks, you know, but it's
Yes.
like, who will listen to me? So.
This guy. I'm raising my hand. I'm raising my hand.
And I have on numerous occasions.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
you're a poor thing. You're just a captive audience. You don't even have a choice.
No,
Bless
it's
your
okay.
heart.
I'm
This
a cap-
vegan pizza smells great.
It does.
Yes. Oh, my goodness. So the one we got today, we got it from Primo's Pizza, which there's one right on Madison. There's one on 117th. And then I think there's one in Parma as well. But this one that Mr. Barrett chose out is the Progressive Field Pizza, right? I believe that it has, what does it have?
Peppers,
Pepperoni,
pepperoni,
2 kinds of cheese,
two
cheddar.
kinds of cheese. I don't know.
I
can't
think there's
remember.
another. I think there's another meat on there. I think
Other
there's
good
another
stuff.
I think
sausage.
it's pepperoni and sausage.
Yes, and it's. I'll tell you something. It's really, really. It's great. Mondays they do 20% off. For,
Okay, for our listeners, there's a family in the background, and Mom just went behind her head and waved backwards towards them.
yes.
So that was
I
funny.
didn't want to be rude and not wave.
There we go. That's
Aw.
perfect.
Taking a tour of the school.
Oh,
So,
awesome.
all good things.
Awesome. Oh, I loved taking a tour
Oh,
of
it
the
was awesome.
school.
Mr. Castle, I see him out
Mr.
there right
Castle,
now. So
he
nice.
is the best, Mr. Castle. He's the one that introduced us to St. Ed's and took us on the tour.
Oh, really?
Very true.
Yes, I remember. Okay, so we had
Anecdote
homeschool.
time.
I know. Look at what
He's so
happened.
gentle. He's so kind.
Yes,
Oh,
it's very
He
nice.
just looks it. You
He
know?
is so sweet.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. We had been homeschooling for
8 years.
8 years, yes, and poor Liam. I loved it though.
Happy birthday, by the way. Happy belated birthday.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh
I,
05,
I,
05, 05.
I got a new
You told me
fedora for my birthday, and I wore it in today.
Oh, yeah,
it's
that
it's
is new.
It's a nice, creamy, light gray. I don't know.
Bringing the fedoras
Mom knows.
back.
She ordered it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I like a good fedora.
They're nice.
Handsome.
Absolutely,
Bring
absolutely.
it back.
A girl who I was working with at the time went to St. Joe's, and she met Liam, and she said, "Oh, does he go to Ed's?" And I said, "No." And I said, "Why?" You know, she said, "Oh, he's so sweet. He seems like he'd go to Ed's." And I thought, "Oh,
This was in grade school?
this was when Liam was in 8th grade."
Oh, wow.
Yes. And so she at the time was a sophomore at St. Joe's.
Huh.
And I would often bring Liam to work with me, and he would do his homework in the back and stuff, you know. And so she met Liam and thought he was sweet and, you know, asked about Ed's. And I said, "No, but tell me more, you know, tell me more." And everything she started to tell me about Joe's and Ed's and, you know, all the people that she knew that were going to these schools, I just
School
thought,
across from Wendy's.
Yeah.
this was sounded like the magic that we needed going into high school, you know. And I loved it. And my dad went to an all boys Catholic school, and I thought, oh, he would just be loving this, you know.
Yeah.
So we came, and Mr. Castle took us on our tour and was so kind. And I remember when Liam got back in the car, he said, "Okay, can I start now?"
That is
He said-
so sweet.
He said, "I can't wait. Can I start now?" And I thought, "Oh, sweetie, you know, it was still
fun.
It was so fun.
It was.
Now he's got the
No.
green and gold watch.
I do. I've got the green and gold watch. I've got
Everything.
green and gold radio.
You've got the tattoo. Oh, no. Mom wasn't supposed to know about the tattoo.
Oh, unless I
She's
made
a
it.
tattoo artist.
Oh. Wait a second. Really?
Yes.
You know, I did for
Oh,
a
we
number
talked
of
about
years.
that.
We did talk
Yeah.
about that,
There's
yeah.
the freshman
Yeah.
here who was
Oh,
a
yeah,
colleague's
Oh
Josh
son.
yes,
Yeah.
oh yes.
Josh Hayden, he's one of my favorite
Yes.
students.
He's awesome.
And
He's
his
an
dad,
awesome guy.
Johnny, is owners with his brother Jimmy, twin brother Jimmy of Focus Tattoos, and that's where I got started. I'm not
Wow.
tattooing right now. I kind of bounce around with my artistic endeavors right now,
But you could.
but I could.
Good.
And who knows? You know, maybe I will again one day.
Maybe we'll again. I'm getting to the time. I might want to get a green and gold radio tattoo.
Yeah.
Just like huge letters on my back or something.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's, you know, you take your art in many different avenues, you know. I kind of have
Yeah.
bounced around with platforms, and you
beautiful.
know, it is, you know, and it's, I just with that, you just, you know, want to make sure it's something really special and meaningful.
So speaking
Not going anywhere. So
of a platform for art,
yes,
another like this is my form of arts, right?
I love it.
And then
love it.
there's the art of singing,
Oh,
choir.
yes,
And
yes.
you mentioned veganism, and I said you have to tell a couple other funny anecdotes. So
Oh, yes.
take
Well,
it away.
you know, we all have our strengths, right? Mr. Barrett's, you are,
Still discovering them.
oh,
Yeah.
you're wonderful. And I love listening to you speak. I feel like I would love sitting in your class. I can see why Liam loved sitting in your class.
Stop it. I'm blushing behind my mask.
It's wonderful.
I love listening to you speak. I could listen to you speak about veganism for
so
the
nice.
2-hour
You're so nice.
the 2-hour regular thing.
I
probably
will.
going to try veganism this summer or Lent of next year.
If you have any questions, just reach
Yeah.
out.
Over
You know?
the summer, just
Yeah.
literally email me and Mom will make
Yeah.
you a
Sure.
home-cooked vegan
Let's
meal or
go.
something. and we can-
Sure.
I looked up
Saw that.
numbers, by the way. I think there's
Absolutely.
9.7 million in America who are vegetarian.
Oh,
Wow.
And I think 5% of that is full vegan.
wow.
Sweet.
And I think I've got two of the best in this room.
Oh,
right
you're
here.
awesome.
Plus, I
You're
gotta lose weight, so-
Now I'm blushing.
You're
Oh,
awesome.
man. Let's go.
It's a great option. It really is, and it's
Yeah.
not as hard as you think. I promise.
yeah.
I promise. And you know, it's like, don't pressure yourself. Like, oh, I have to go full throttle right away, or else
Yeah,
I haven't
right.
done it. No.
Pace yourself.
Transition.
4th of
Pace
July.
yourself.
coming
Sure.
up, yeah.
Yeah. You know, do what works for you. Don't put this crazy pressure on yourself. You
Right.
know,
Yeah.
do what works for you. If you want to swap out one thing at a time and see if you like it, great. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
it's totally cool. And Liam, your strengths. Oh my goodness, I feel like you're discovering these strengths.
I am still discovering my
You know,
strengths.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
You have so many. I mean, and I'm your mom, so I could go on and on. I'll spare you because I promised you I'd try not
Please
to
don't go
embarrass
on and
you.
on.
But I feel like the podcasting and now with your film class, I feel like you're kind of embarking into territory that I see you truly loving,
Yeah.
which is really exciting. You know, you may have thought, oh, I'm going to go down this one path, and now you're like learning these
Speaking of
other things.
going down this
Yes.
one path on our tour, I'm gonna go on a tangent real quick.
Mm-hmm.
When we went on our tour, the thing that drew me to Ed's was the robotics and engineering departments
Mm-hmm.
and the crazy stuff in the basement. And since then, I don't think I've used it once. I have, like, literally, that is what drew me to Ed's, and I have pretty much done everything but that.
Yeah.
There's
and
so much to
wow.
explore.
It's just
though.
I've found my strong suits in this and film. So sorry to interrupt.
No,
Please continue.
Oh my goodness, the engineering department, what is available down there is, oh my
Yeah.
goodness gracious, how cool.
Blows my mind.
You guys are just amazing. You
and it's
guys are just
changed and
amazing.
grown so much since I was a student here.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
wild.
yeah, yes.
Yeah.
It's probably so neat to watch that happen.
And
you
it was great then,
know?
too.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Yeah.
But, yeah.
So, you know, strengths, and we all try different things. So I grew up in Vegas. Like I said before, my dad was a jazz musician. He played
Oh,
bass,
wow.
electric and acoustic. And the funny thing is that both of my parents, I'm telling you all this stuff, nobody even asked or wants to know, but I'm just going to tell you anyway. Both
is
of
awesome.
my parents originally were from Ohio. My mom grew up in Steubenville with her family. My dad grew up in Willoughby with his family. And then my dad in his early 20s moved to Vegas to pursue a music career, to pursue jazz and to go play music. And he ended up, I mean, oh my gosh, just meeting amazing people. His best friend Carmen was a drummer, and they just had great adventures together. And he ended up playing in a lot of the hotel shows and then a lot of gigs at night, you know, and they toured. He toured Europe, and it was just really, really,
Wow.
sounds like a lot of fun.
Was he in the Tommy Dorsey band by chance?
No,
No?
but that would have been.
My uncle was a jazz pianist in the Tommy Dorsey band.
Oh,
And sorry to
wow.
interrupt, but my
No,
middle
yeah,
name is
yeah.
Arthur,
Oh,
and I'm named after my great-grandfather, Arthur Hagen, who was a jazz pianist
Oh.
during the Great Depression.
oh my gosh, how cool.
Yeah, so
That's
that
awesome.
was easy work.
That's
you know, his
great.
daughter, who's my grandma, Mary Barrett, had no idea it was a Great Depression because everyone was always coming over and jamming on the
Aw.
piano,
That's
and
so
then
fun.
he had a steady income with it. And
Good for him.
there's I feel like there's this unturned rock in my life to, if not play music, at least, sense that it's part of my very name, my namesake.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. I
Oh,
wonder
that's
if-
so cool.
I wonder if our relatives ever
Oh,
cross paths.
probably. Your family's from Ohio?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
my dad came back to Cleveland, and I mean, you know, the jazz community in, well, anywhere, but especially here. I mean, it's like a tight knit family. You know, these guys, it's family.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure at some point
Yeah.
we'd have overlaying people who
Yeah.
play. It's pretty cool. That's neat.
That's awesome.
Music is music has been another big blessing in my life. I should have included that before. Music can be so healing, and there's never a lack of great music out there. I mean,
That's so
if
true.
you're bored with something, there's so much more to explore, you know?
Yeah.
I keep the classical station on in the car because that's like my peaceful place when I'm
104.9.
driving, you know? Yeah, I love it.
There it is.
I just love it, you
Yeah.
know? And so obviously I grew up probably very similarly to your grandmother, musicians coming over all the time, practicing, playing. It was always loud. I remember being, you know, next to the amps or sitting on the amps, just, you know.
That's so sweet.
And I used to put pennies in my dad's bass in the F holes. It's another memory that popped into my head. My dad passed away when I was 16. So what I've learned is talking about him and keeping his memory alive is like so important. You know, it's easy sometimes to just grow quiet, but I have found through periods of quietness and not quietness that it's healthy for me, and I'm sure lots of other people too, share stories and to keep these memories alive, you know? But I was little, and those F holes, which are the little cutouts in the acoustic bass that kind of look like a big S, and they were perfect for pennies. They fit perfectly in there. And of course,
That's hysterical.
that is like not
That's awesome.
what you want to hear when
Look,
you're
this
plugging
hole is
in
perfect
acoustic.
for a penny.
So
Yeah.
I remember my dad taking the big, and he was 6'4". You probably get your height after him, Liam. But he was, you know, a tall man. I remember him picking up his giant double bass over his head and shaking these pennies out.
A mountain
And-
of a man.
Yes,
That's
you know.
awesome.
And I never got in trouble for that, but I'm sure he wasn't happy about that. Oh my goodness. So bass players, you know, or guitarists, anybody who's playing an instrument with strings, you know, you develop calluses
Yeah.
on your fingers. So he used to keep a little Vaseline under the one part of the bass that's on the side. I wish I knew what it was called, that like arc. And he'd keep it there and he'd tuck it and grab a little bit, you know, if he needed.
Wow.
And I remember seeing the little Vaseline jar by the bass, and I wanted to help. I mean, I'm a good helper. So I took my little hand and I scooped out a whole bunch of Vaseline and just
no.
smeared it down the front of the bass. And I was helping. I mean, that was conditioning the wood. So you're welcome, Dad.
Grape jelly. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh my goodness. So we went to both my parents were raised Catholic, but we grew up in an Episcopalian church and Christian, you know. And so I was 8 and I thought, oh, music is everywhere. I love music. I love to sing. I'm going to join the church choir. And my grandma, who I mentioned before, this is my mom's mom. She had the most beautiful voice. And my grandpa, her husband, he didn't have quite the same talent in that area, but he thought he did, and he loved to sing and only had one volume, and it was like extra loud. So I remember in church with them, you know, they'd be singing and my grandpa would just be belting it out, you know, and my grandmother who's trying to sing, she'd see her slowly start to inch away from him because he'd thrown her off, you know. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I'm going to sing just like my grandma, joined the church choir. And I went to a few practices. I think I made it through like 3. And then I came back and I just remember the choir director saying, oh, no, honey, you're going to hand the pamphlets out today.
Oh.
And I said, oh, but I'm here to
I'm
sing.
in the choir.
Yeah, I'm here to sing. Oh, no, honey, no, you're not. You're going to hand the pamphlets out. That's your job now. And so, you know, it really takes a certain amount of talent to get kicked out of the church choir. I mean, just really think about it. The church choir, an 8-year-old, and I
Man.
wasn't making the cut. So I'm
cut for the
sorry
church
for
choir.
all the times I try to sing along in the car. It's really sad. I just really try to perfect my whistling.
Yeah. No,
My
it's fine.
humming.
That
I
works.
I sing loudly and off key to Dean Martin and Frank Sinatra in the car.
You
Let's
have
go.
a great
I get it.
voice. You have a great voice. So, you know your
Debatable.
strengths.
You could be in a play.
You should be.
Maybe.
Yeah, that would be
I
great.
just saw it.
I'm not that good of an actor.
Oh, but yes, huh? Yes, you are.
No, I'm not. I'm
Says
not.
every person ever.
Yeah, exactly. Wouldn't that be fun being in a play?
That's
don't
my
know,
biggest
maybe.
regret at St. Ed's is not being in a play.
Oh my
Maybe.
goodness.
Yeah.
Oh.
If I could turn back the clock, I would. So
I don't.
for my own sake, Liam, please.
Yes.
I don't think you
Just
understand
do
the
it.
fiasco. This little 5'3"
Oh, 5'3", I grew.
Wow.
I didn't want to undersell. Okay, I'm sorry. 5'2" Italian woman is going to be talking about me joining a play for the next year.
Yeah.
That's exciting, though.
We've
That
got a
could be lot of
podcast.
fun.
You don't have to click record.
We do have a podcast.
We don't have to
Yeah.
record it.
Record
Sorry,
what?
that was a bad joke.
What do we have to not?
Just say, hey, Mom, come
Yeah.
talk about me in
Yeah.
the play on the
Oh.
podcast.
Yeah.
And you just don't click record. Just
Yeah,
click record.
exactly.
She'll never know.
I will never
She'll
know, and
never
I'll just
know.
keep
Yeah.
talking. It's fine. Just give me the mic.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Sorry, that wasn't meant to be insulting.
No,
to any
it's,
mom
I didn't
anywhere.
know what it was.
No, I think that's wonderful, and I actually, I would like to come and see one of the plays. I think that I learned about it this
So
year
good.
after it had
I
actually
learned
happened.
about
I'd
it-
love to come and watch.
I
would
learned
love
about
that.
it like the day
Yeah.
before it was being performed, and I had already made plans that night, or I would have gone. I wanted to go.
Yeah.
Sounded cool.
Yeah, it certainly did.
And
It's a
I
lot of
talk
work.
about you as a 5'2" Italian woman. I don't mean to be insulting. I should have said 5'2" grizzly bear because
Yeah.
you are this small little bundle of joy, and you're so sweet.
Aw,
But you're the single most intimidating person I've ever met in my life, and like I love you so much. Like, for example, there was this time when I was like 2, right? 1, 2, and we were living in this apartment, and Mom had ordered a pizza or something, right? This is one of my favorite
I
anecdotes.
did.
Of
It
yours.
was Chinese. You were much younger
Chinese,
than
yeah.
when you were little.
I was little.
And I had just set up a playpen for you. So, I'm a new mom, and don't get the wrong idea about me, everybody. Grizzly
There's
bear,
no
moms
wrong
just moms just need to do what they need to do, and that's that.
No, everyone understands.
There's a great video of a grizzly bear walking her cubs across the street. It came out like a month ago.
They're very caring.
Oh, I
They're
have
very
to see
sweet.
that. Love bears. So yes, I'll tell this story. This was a question mark one in the car, but
It's not a question mark. I knew.
not a
it was-
question
I
mark.
knew this was gonna happen the whole time.
Bless your heart, you're so cute. So I set up this. It was like not a playpen, but like a little octagon, like a little baby fence, and you
Yeah.
put your little baby inside, and then you can walk away and know that they're not going to crawl away into trouble. Okay. And I'm trying to remember how old you were. You were little. I mean, you were crawling, and that was about it. So, under 9 months, baby, tiny baby, new mom.
Yeah.
And I finished that. You were not inside the playpen. Okay, you were just sitting right there. And ding dong, oh, Chinese food's here. Okay, so I walked over. We were living in an apartment in Lakewood actually at the time. And I paid for the food and click the door shut behind me into the hallway. And I reach over to go open the door.
Oh,
Mind
no.
you, it's just Liam and I home.
Oh, no.
Okay, his dad was at work. And it's locked.
Oh, no.
Oh no is right.
Oh.
Exactly my feeling, Mr. Barrett. Oh no. And then the realization, like you try again, like maybe
Maybe if I try again.
Maybe if I do it
Yeah.
a second time. Okay.
Still locked, still locked.
Nope, still locked. Oh my gosh. I don't have a key. I don't even think I had my phone. I had nothing except a bag of Chinese food.
Oh, no.
And there's my baby inside.
Can you see inside?
Well, not from that door, but I went to the kitchen window, okay?
Oh.
And I could see him there, yes. And I could see right through the kitchen window. There was the playpen. There was my baby, not in the playpen.
No.
And I thought,
She's motioning like
Oh,
two things
boy,
very
oh,
close
boy.
together.
Great storyteller.
and
This
there
is
is,
awesome.
you're so sweet. And there's my baby, cute little baby Liam in a diaper, and he's holding a remote. And in my mind, and I'm sure lots of sleep-deprived parents can, relate that, I call it mom brain, but dads get it too. It's just that period of sleep deprivation you go through for like
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
And, it's like mom brain. Some things, it's like Swiss cheese up there. You don't know what's going to stick, what's not going to stick.
Fourth quarter of school, I feel that.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
mom brain.
Oh, yeah.
It's like I'm just trying. I hope I have the same shoes on my feet. I'm just glad I have shoes on. It's all right. What processed through my mind, and I think about it now. I'm like, this is a little irrational, but I was thinking to myself, he's gonna open the remote, take the batteries out, and swallow them.
My 9-month
My
baby brain.
First
is gonna
fear.
choke on batteries, and it's all my fault. Oh my goodness, no. So I was in full sweat panic mode.
Oh,
Okay,
God.
so I run across the hall, and I'm banging, boom, 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 on the door. this girl, I believe her name was Alicia, and she was amazing. I said, Alicia. She came to the door. I was like, thank you for answering, because she's the only person I knew in the building. I'm like, Alicia, and rapid fire, it probably came out so fast. And I'm sure the look on my face, no color in my face, panicked. I said, Liam is locked inside alone. I need something heavy to break the window with. This girl didn't miss a beat. She did not miss a beat.
Let's go.
She said, okay, ran into the kitchen, took all the knives out of her butcher block, grabbed the piece of wood, the butcher block, and handed it to me. I mean, within 5 seconds, I'm like, you are awesome, I gotta go. And I ran down the hall, and with one punch, I'm telling you, I didn't even have time to think. I had the wooden block that the knives go in, so a big piece of wood in my hand, and I just one punch punched it right through the window.
Super mom.
By the grace of God, I didn't even get a cut on my arm.
Wow.
Glass broke everywhere. Liam looks up at me like, hey. I'm like, hi, baby, don't worry. Reach in, unlock, open it up, and there he is. No batteries, still holding the
Just
remote.
hanging out.
Just hanging out,
Wow.
just looking at me. And I mean, glass everywhere. My landlord's like, what happened? I was like, I had to break my window. It's okay. Don't worry.
Break my window. It's okay.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And then he came and put a grate over it, I remember. I'm like, well, what am I going to do next time?
Yeah, really.
Hope there's not a next time, but geez, that's unnecessary. Oh, my goodness. So, Mom of the Year.
That's amazing.
That's right.
That's a great story.
Isn't that just, that was, boy, a really intense, 2 minutes. It was.
You're an intense person.
I'm still sweating from that.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness gracious. So, and I'm sure, honestly, if you talk to parents, everybody's probably got one of those stories that
Everyone's
they may
got
or
a
not
moment.
may not announce on a podcast or not. But that was. I'm so glad you were okay. I don't even think, and just to let you guys know, I don't even think that you moved 5 inches.
Yeah.
I don't. Generally speaking, I don't like to move if
Oh,
I'm
Leo.
comfortable. If I'm
Does
comfortable, I
anybody?
just sit in
Yeah.
the same spot for 5 hours.
Yeah,
I don't
really.
like to move.
I'm with you.
Well, cozy's cozy, you
Cozy's
know. You were
cozy.
cozy pushing the buttons on the remote that I was convinced you were going to swallow the batteries. So, you know.
You probably didn't even notice she was gone.
Yeah.
Oh,
No.
he had no idea. No, he just looked at me like,
Ooh, look, broken window.
oh yeah, it all happened so fast, But
Yeah.
I just remember that panic of, oh my goodness.
I'm
So,
locked out.
moral of the story, make a copy of your key.
Mm.
Go hide it outside tonight.
Yep.
Somewhere.
Not under the doormat because everyone knows
Everyone
that trick.
knows that.
Right,
Yeah.
right. But find a place, a fun, inventive little place. That was the lesson that I learned there. So now there are keys planted everywhere.
Yeah.
We've all been locked out before,
And
Yes.
knife blocks are placed everywhere too.
Yes. Knife
Yeah, that's
blocks.
very
Knife
true.
blocks.
But-
No knives.
Oh, no knives.
Just the block.
Just the
block.
block.
Just in case.
Just
You
the
just need the
block,
block.
just in case. And boy, I mean, bless her heart, she didn't miss a beat. Didn't even miss a beat.
Didn't
Just
miss a beat.
Thank
so
you,
that was almost
Alicia.
more impressive, than
Yeah.
me not getting cut. I was like, wow, you're awesome. All right, quick on your feet. I like that.
Yeah.
Just a fast thinker. So, yeah, that was
That's genius.
that was
And you've got infinite, incredible stories to tell, and you are a great storyteller. And most of those will have to wait until the next Mother's Day episode.
Oh, don't make me wait a whole year.
But there's one. Okay.
Halfway to Mother's Day.
Halfway to Mother's Day, yes.
May, June, July, August, September, October, November.
Okay, maybe
Yeah, I
just
like
the next
that.
time you come on. But there's one more
good.
story I want to tell before time runs out.
Okay.
I think you know where I'm going with this, but I'm not sure. So we're talking about grizzly bears. You're the 5'2" Italian grizzly bear. That's my favorite nickname for you.
And
Great.
Croatian.
And Croatian,
Croatian,
of
yeah.
course. But
Okay.
well, you talk with your hands so much
I
that
know.
you just seem you just emanate Italian-ness. I don't know.
I don't know how not to.
Yeah, exactly.
To sit on them or something.
So anyway, we went to the zoo.
Oh my goodness. So, yes. So
I
not.
just have to say 2 words.
Was this recent?
No, this was
This-
when I was 5. I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah.
because you had a zoo story from this summer, didn't you?
Did I don't know.
Or is that where the fedora came about at the zoo for the first time?
Yes, I do
that
have a
it?
good. I've got a good zoo story with the fedora.
Oh, tell us.
Okay. So, Mom found this. I don't even know what it is. It's like a safari park type deal.
Oh yeah, in Port Clinton, Ohio.
In Port Clinton,
Yes.
Ohio. Yeah.
I have a trailer right down the street from there.
Are
Oh,
you
that's
serious?
awesome.
Oh
What?
my
Yeah.
gosh, it's
Yeah.
so neat.
That is
Oh, it's
awesome.
awesome up there. When we were talking about cows, I was picturing the cows that are in the cow pen pasture
wow.
right next to the safari park sign.
Oh,
Yeah.
awesome.
Anyways.
So, yeah, I was
it's
looking.
a fun place.
We were going there, and I was looking for. It was the story about how I got a different fedora, not this one. But I was looking for a hat to wear because I like wearing hats, and I've always really worn a hat. But like not a ball cap because my head looks like a watermelon in a ball cap. Like it just looks like this weird shape in a ball cap. I don't know why, but it does. No. So I was looking for a hat to wear to the safari park, and we went to JCPenney, found this fedora. I was like, oh, okay, sure, let's try it out. And I put it on, fit perfectly, went to the safari park, and 5 fedoras later, I've got a whole collection.
Yes.
So,
yes.
that's how the fedoras came about.
They look good on you.
So anyway,
They do.
I like a fedora.
Me too.
It's
I feel
a quick
like they,
fancy,
I feel like they went out of
Yeah.
style a little too quick.
Bring it back.
Yeah.
Bring it back. I like it.
Yeah.
I like
I
it.
should
So
get you a fedora.
classy.
Whatever makes you feel
It's
good.
so classy.
I do my
it's
best.
Fun,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, it's fun. You got to find your own groove.
Sharp.
You know?
Gotta find the niche.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That and a
That's right.
pea coat or a leather jacket. in
There you
it.
go. Or this thing.
Yeah.
Giant
Yeah.
overcoat.
Absolutely.
So anyway,
Got it. So
zoo.
when you were little, and now you know what I have to say, you know, on the topic of veganism too, I would probably choose to visit like a sanctuary now where there's rescued animals.
Which are very cool because they have big dogs.
Yes,
Big
yes.
dogs.
Big dogs.
There's one in Ohio called LASA, Lasa Sanctuary, and it's run by a friend of a friend. We still need to get there, Liam.
We do.
I've been meaning to make a trip out there, but they have rescued farm animals, and they're awesome, and you can go hug cows and all the good stuff.
That's awesome.
Let's go do
yeah.
that like the second school is over.
I am.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely, and
May
we can even
29th?
volunteer
Yes, May 29th.
there.
Let's
yeah,
do it.
Totally. You know, let's do it. We'll do it. I want to say it's like under an hour away, maybe 45 minutes, so not far. But when you were little, I used to love to take you, put you in your stroller, and it's, you know, it was a great way for me to exercise. And I'd walk all around the zoo. We'd look at the animals, you know, and I'd always pack us a lunch or a dinner, and usually PB&J because that's what we loved. You were still stroller size, so you were probably, I want to say maybe like 3. Okay, you were little.
Let's go with that.
And I'm sitting on the bench, and I'm like, okay, we've done our walk. We've had a great day. It was a beautiful sunny day. Let's sit and have our PB&J, you know?
Sure.
So we're sitting there sharing our food, and I'm looking around and I'm thinking, wow, this is like, I forget what day of the
Perfect
week
time
it
to
was.
come.
Hey, this is like a great time of day to come to the zoo. There's like not a big crowd, you know, it's really quiet actually. And, you know, it's very peaceful, you know? So we're eating, and I'm watching this little, you know, the little golf cart little guys that drive around, you
Yeah.
know, and
Yeah.
he's doing his job and checking things out.
Doing the laps. You
And
know.
he passes us, and same guy passes us again, like 10 minutes later, and then third time passes us again. And I'm thinking, wow, I keep seeing the
What's
same
going
guy.
on here?
Yeah, exactly. And I said, oh, excuse me, sir. I said, what time does the zoo close, you know? And he looks at me and said, oh, 45 minutes ago.
No way.
Yeah. And I said, oh, okay. Well, no wonder it's so quiet
It is
here.
a great time to come.
And bless his heart, he never said a word. He thought, I'm not interrupting her and her
nice.
son eating peanut butter and jelly. I thought, oh, I wonder how long you would have let us sit there
Yeah.
and eat, you know?
And he's just checking in on you.
Just
every
checking.
10
Like, yep,
minutes.
still there. There she is. I
Yep.
wonder if she's all right, you know?
Yeah. I wonder, they probably get that often. Like, we've got a code. What color would apply better?
Yeah.
Cold purple for PB&J? We got a
Yeah.
cold purple.
Got a code
Mom and
purple.
her son.
Got a
That's
late,
so precious.
got a late
Oh
dinner
my
date
God.
happening over here in the stroller. Should I talk to her? Do I
What
ask her
better
to leave?
place than the zoo
What do I
for
say?
that to happen, too?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, it was so funny. So I think we actually sat there and finished our sandwich too before we got up and left. I was like, well, we're this far in, it's all right.
That's great.
Do you
Yeah.
remember this, Liam?
No.
No?
I don't. I
So
don't
Those
remember.
are
little.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember vaguely the thing window. I remember weird parts of my childhood. I remember the window thing, like
you?
scratch, like real vague. And
The
then
taste of the battery, right?
the taste
Sorry.
of the battery.
Not
Oh
funny.
my goodness!
Not funny.
Which, by the way, when I was like 13, my dad, Amanda, I think he
Oh,
wished that I had
yes.
been a boy,
Yeah.
because like he would take me to professional wrestling matches. He loved Andre the Giant.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I got to go
Yeah.
see. And I remember going
Oh,
in
my
Vegas to, I forget Andre's partner. You know when they did the doubles, the partners.
Yeah.
Okay, so he had a partner, and I can't remember his name, but I remember being there, and they were wrestling against, what was it, like the Demolition Twins or something? They were all in red. I can't remember. I'm probably butchering it, but wrestling people will know. And I remember Andre and his partner were the underdog, right? Okay, but I loved Andre the Giant, Princess Bride, who's
Yeah.
seen the movie.
Yeah.
Great
Oh
one.
my gosh.
Marriage.
Oh, true.
Ooh.
It's so good. Anybody want a peanut? Okay. I remember being there, and I was like almost in tears because Andre and his partner were not winning. And I remember standing up and yelling at the top of my lungs, "Get up, Andre! Just get up, please!" You know, and like I was so serious about it. I mean, I had no. It was so real to me. You know.
Yeah, it's not staged whatsoever.
No, not at all. No.
No.
So I got to do all those fun, like, you know, guy things because, I was myself, and I have a younger sister who's 4.5 years younger. So no boys, but my dad, I think
Yeah.
wanted a
Live
boy.
vicarious through you.
Yes. So I was like 13, and he's always pulling like little jokes, always, Amanda, here's a 9-volt battery, lick it. And I had no idea. I didn't know what was going on. Okay. And I lick it, and oh my gosh, ow, don't do it. If somebody asks you to lick a battery, don't do it. Yeah.
A 9-volt. So it's not like he asked you
He
to look
thought
at
it was
like a AAA
hilarious.
battery.
No, like a 9-volt, like one of the big ones.
Oh my goodness, he thought that was hysterical.
Battery's right here
Hysterical.
in my hand right now.
Want to lick another one?
Yeah.
I'm good.
wild.
I'm filled my quota. Oh my goodness.
That's great.
Oh, that's so silly. That's so silly. All these funny little blurps,
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to have you back on, and we're gonna have to do
Oh my
more.
gosh, yeah.
I would love that. I've
And-
only been annoying you since you started this to let me on. So
This is
thank you.
epic.
Thank
Yes,
you.
I don't want this to end. This is fun.
I don't want this to end
Yeah,
either.
this is fun.
I
This is
can't
great.
believe this has been an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
This is insane.
Time has flown.
Well, that
Time has
is
flown.
when you're having fun.
Well,
Thank you.
audience, crowd, chat, whatever you want to call it, we are gonna go eat pizza,
Yes.
and yeah, we're gonna go eat pizza and tell more anecdotes without the microphones.
Yeah.
Go do this with your mom.
Yes,
This
go
weekend.
Go
Yes.
ask her for like 5 crazy stories about
Yeah.
your childhood.
The greatest gift you could give is your ears this
Yes.
weekend.
Oh, I love that.
Tell
Talk with your
stories.
Oh my
yeah.
gosh,
Have fun.
that's great.
Yeah.
Oh,
Put
it's
your phone
so
away.
True. Yes, put your phone away.
Tell me what it was like
Yeah.
when I was young. Something like that.
Did you ever lock yourself out and
Yeah.
take a butcher's block and smash the window?
Yeah.
Just me? No?
No?
Just anyone else?
yeah.
Somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone out there. Yes, ask your mom questions.
Yeah.
Funny stories. Oh, that's so wonderful.
It is.
That is
Sweet.
so wonderful.
So,
yes, happy Mother's Day.
Audience,
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Go have fun with your moms and have a great day. Get off of TikTok while you're watching this and go hang out with your mom.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sweet.
Or
right.
make a TikTok with your mom.
Yeah.
She'll love that.
Oh, yeah.
Can we do that?
That's another thing you've been asking me to do. Yes, we can do that.
little dance video.
Sure thing, sweetheart.
I love choreographed
All right.
dance. Yeah.
This has been Green and Gold Radio. I'm your host, William Plav Masters, signing off.